When I started it, I was living in Stafford. Even before I started playing the open mic here, we've done a few gigs here. Been to many nights here, many great bands. Even like the Jam Nights on a Sunday, been down there quite regularly. Even back 5-6 years ago, it was the place for live music still. Little less. There's a few more places that did it. There was a place out on Eastgate Street. I can't remember what that was called now. Really steeped in your metal, emo scene almost. They had that sort of live bands. There were a few other places as well that have since closed. The Hog's Head was good for bands as well. The problem is, obviously, the smoker ban came in and all the pubs have started closing. And it does affect, it's happened in every town and every city where the scenes had to change. But you see here, you get a little bit more of different types of places doing music. You know, there's gigs at the coffee house and places like that. So the scene's still rumbling around there. It was a lot for me, you know, because it was there wasn't really an open mic for my kind of performer where it was the open mics that were there were either, you know, you sort of played the hits. You know, that's what people wanted to hear. They just wanted to hear the hits, and they had their set groups and performers, and it's quite difficult to get into onto that sort of rota, or to get on and just play. You know, I always describe myself as the guy who plays the song next to the song you love on the album. You know, I played a B-side. You know, I played a Who, but instead of playing My Generation, I played a Seeker. I do Jeff Buckley, but instead of doing Hallelujah, I do Eternal Life, and it's sort of worked out with running the open mic because then it leaves all the more popular songs open to everyone else, sort of thing. You know. Although I do find everyone just tends to steal my songs anyway, but that's kind of cool, you know. Sorry, you mentioned that, it's just brought back so many memories of different people who used to come and play, sort of thing, and they've sort of drifted on and moved on. It's quite funny how the faces and people have changed, but actually a lot of the songs are still the same. There's a lot of people at the beginning who very much used it to sort of get themselves from, here's these songs I've written in my bedroom, to, hey, here I am on a stage, here's my song, sort of thing, and then push that outwards to playing gigs and doing shows with their material, which, you know, is a hard step. Now we tend to get more people that are getting ready for doing covers a lot more. Because essentially the market's changed. There's a lot less money in live music as it is, and a lot less people are trying to do their own stuff because there's very little money in it. The venues don't have the money now. You know, a lot of places, you know, that used to do music 4 times a week, do it twice a week, and they give a lot less, and they play safe. You know, they don't take a risk on say, oh, let's pick a guy who's got his own songs. Let's try him on a Thursday night and give him a little amount here. You know, instead they're like, well, we need to get the people in. We need to make the money. So let's get someone who who plays the hits and does this, and we'll bring them in. And that's just the way it's changed. And that in itself, like I say, has changed the way people are coming up. Essentially, how they're preparing, what they're wanting to do with music. Oh man, we had some great guys. There's a chap named Stephen Drew who went from playing like 3 or 4 of his own songs and a load of covers like Stereophonics and stuff like that. He even played a little bit of Tom Jones, but he started just putting more and more of his own material in. Eventually worked up, recorded an album, recorded that with Derek Holt, who runs the Sunday Night Jam. And yeah, you know, that was like one of the really sort of early success stories where it's like, yes, you know, look how far he's come from here to here, you know, and really is used and, you know, had a good crowd and, you know, built that up here. You know, you can sit and play these songs to yourself forever and you'll never know. You know what I mean? You'll never know until you go out and go, okay, what do the general public think when I sing these songs? And sometimes you don't get a reaction on the first time. You've got to keep sort of playing them and make it work. I mean, obviously we always have had a large range. I remember a chap named Ian who used to come play. He used to play the blues. He used to play like really slow Chicago blues, really down. And I mean, it didn't really go down massively well because obviously it's a very distinct style that he played. You know, I used to sort of think, oh man, where's this guy? And where's this guy? And then I'd look him up and be like, oh, cool, they're literally not in town anymore, you know, because we get a lot of students with the university here, you know, and they'll be here and they'll be here for like, you know, they'll discover it at some point. Normally halfway through their second year, you know, they'll escape the clutches of the SU and sort of venture down into town and discover us, and we'll have them for like 18 months and they'll be gone again. But it's you know, it's nice to have that range of performers really. That you know, what at the end of the day you do know they're going to go, but it's nice to have them while they're here. You know, same with people like Ryan who are here, like Ryan Lawler who are here, like 6 months of the year or so. You know they're going to go, but you know that while they're here is going to be spectacular. You know. On any given night, you never know what's going to walk through the door. You know, we have a lot of people that come and do they travel for work and they play a little bit, or I remember once we had to chat a coach load of cricketers from Liverpool. They'd come down to play a match, and they'd come in. This was their night out. They'd stumbled into here, and they ended up singing a couple of some skiffle, Jerry and the Pacemakers songs. Who was that chap? I can't remember his name now. Yes. His name's Luke. Stanhill? Something like that. Well, we can always look these up afterwards. Might have to. But he was a real surprise because he came from, I think, Cannock or somewhere just outside of Stafford, and he came with his parents, and he was a very sort of young, very small, very young-looking lad, spoke very quietly, and seemed very sort of like just inward and into himself, and didn't really seemed very, very confident, which always makes me go, okay, what? Because most people are very nervous, incredibly nervous, because it's their first handful of times performing. So when this chap turned up and was like, right, I'm here, we're ready, when do you want me on, sort of thing, and I was like, okay, cool, what are we going to get for you? And he's like, I do your standard pop songs and stuff, and there's a little bit of your dance and stuff like that. Okay, cool, and then put him on, and phenomenal. He was absolutely amazing, played for about 25 minutes, just this absolutely stunning voice from such a small guy, stunning voice, great guitar playing, really interesting songs, and that was great. That was really memorable. And he turned up on the not X Factor, but Britain's Got Talent a couple of years ago. Yeah. He didn't get through, unfortunately. He had weirdly nerves. Yeah, no nerves here, but obviously you take a step up.
That's like
Yeah, it's one of those things, and obviously you've got cameras on you, and it's the big break, and he sort of crumbled a little bit. But it's one of those things. I sort of always felt that if he had allowed himself to get nervous in these situations, and sort of hadn't always come out with his parents and his support group almost, that he might have got over that, and then by the time he was there, he would have had that confidence he had earlier, and just nailed it like he did here. I almost felt like sending in, hey, come back here and play. And
like you need to
build back up again. I wonder what he's doing, because you sort of go, wow, he had a great talent. What is he up to? I hope he didn't take that and crumble and, and quit,
Yeah.
I see a lot of potential in so many people, actually. Some people are very, very professional. They know they want to be musicians, and they really push it. Owen Charlton is a great example of that.
Yeah.
I mean, he was good when he came here first time. The first time he came here, we were like, okay. But it's almost like having a young footballer or something. It's all potential. They've got to put that work in to get it there.
Yeah.
And he's done it time after time and time, and just kept stepping up. And he's got a great future in front of him, amazing future. And if he keeps working the way he does, world's his limit, But on the flip side of that, I see people where you're like, okay, you're nearly there. You're nearly there. You're nearly at a stage where you can come in here and control the room. Because this is the important part. It's coming from being, okay, I'm playing the song, to I'm performing, to right, I'm making these people listen to me. There's almost the 3 distinct steps. And they're just sort of there. They're performing. They're getting a little bit of interesting stuff, but they're not putting the extra work in to sort of make that a stunning performance, to stop the room, to make them, and then to be able to push on, to be doing that in other places. I see that range of people, but seeing the potential and seeing them grow is what makes me really just makes me adore doing it.
Yeah.
Is because I know, say like I know Owen's coming tonight, and I know last week he was great last week. He took another step up again, like to the point where I was like, well, I better practice, you know. But you know, so I'm looking forward to seeing what he's got this week, you know, because I know he's got another song coming this week, and I'm like, oh, yeah, great. It keeps me going as well,
Yeah.
because obviously, you know, it would be very easy for me to rest on my laurels and be like, okay, you know, I perform and I do what I do, and then, you know, take the rest of the night off and sort of, you know, just let everyone else play sort of thing. But I really do like to try and be the best one. For my own personal thing, really, of just keeping myself pushing as an artist and as a performer, you know, keep getting better and better. And when I see that in other people, brilliant, yes. I've never really been able to put my finger on what draws people in,
Yeah.
but I like to think it's sort of the atmosphere that we generate here. Is that, you know, we have a very positive sort of atmosphere. You know, we have fun. We have a lot of fun, tell some jokes, stories, and have a mess around, and you know, not take it all so seriously, because you know, life is very serious. Sometimes you got to have a bit of a laugh, and I think people sort of respond to that. And the fact that the atmosphere is like, it doesn't matter who you are, what you're doing, or you know, you can be in this room, and it doesn't matter. You're all involved, and you're all included. You know, as much as you want to be.